They were changing the spark plugs on the 2015 4Runner. All 4Runners after 2009 have the 4-liter. So we're going to be changing the spark plugs today. This is going to be pertinent to all 2014 and newer 4Runners. It's pretty much the same on other 4Runners with the exception in 2014 they added an air pump right here, which makes it a little bit more difficult to access the one spark plug there in the back. But this does apply to all 4 liters, it's just there's an extra step for 14 and newer. We're going to start off by getting access to the passenger side. You're going to be removing the whole intake. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to disconnect there on the throttle body. You're going to disconnect this hose right here. You're going to disconnect this hose here. And then you're going to disconnect your mass airflow wiring sensor, and then there's a bunch of clips that you're going to remove. Once you have those out of the way, you're going to have quite a bit more access here. Next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to remove this air pump here, and so we can access below it and get to these coil packs. We're going to be taking this piece off here, and that's going to have a 12mm nut there on the back side, and one right there. Then there's going to be two 10mm bolts right here that you're going to want to remove. Have this piece pulled out of the way, you can abandon this part right here, just leave it. Then you have access to all 3 of your coil packs, and this is on the passenger side, so you can either start changing the spark plugs on this side, or we can prep the other side, and we're going to go ahead and start prepping the other side. Driver side's the same. There's a second air pump here. Remove the 12mm nuts. There's 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3. And then remove the 2 10mm bolts that would be holding on right here onto that right there. That should be enough clearance. It won't be the funnest job, but it'll be enough clearance to get to all these. So anyway, now you're at the point now where you can start removing the coil packs and removing the spark plugs. You want to remove your coil packs. You'll have the 3 there. You can look in and you can, well, you can't see it on the phone, but if you looked in there with the light, you could see the spark plugs. So now you're ready to pull the spark plugs out of this side, and while you do that, Julie is now removing the 3 coil packs on the driver's side. All the spark plugs out of the passenger side, and they all have plenty of life left in them. If you look there, you can see the electrode. There we go. You can see the electrode still pretty good. Not even pretty good, they look really good. Spark plugs in, then go ahead and install your coil packs. Make sure that when you install the coil packs that there's a gasket on the bottom here. Make sure that those are fully seated. And then make sure with your connectors that you don't accidentally cross connectors. They're length designed to go to the right one. So if you are stretching it or there's extra wire, you're probably on the wrong coil pack, which is going to cause a misfire. So make sure that these all go to the right ones. Not hard to mess up, but just worth noting. And just seat those nice until they click on each single one. Then you're ready to install the air pump. Putting the passenger side back together, that's the air pump there. Remember, it's the 3 nuts with the 2 bolts there. Remember, when you are putting it back on, that you put the metal gasket here. It goes right there. So don't forget that when you put that back on, if it fell off. Get all your coil packs in and plugged in and nice and tight. Time to drop the air pump back in. So you kind of just want to wiggle it onto those 3 studs. Passenger side air pump back together. It's time to put back the air filter box and the tube going to the throttle body. Same as before. Reconnect this line. Reconnect this line right here. Tighten up your connection on the throttle body. Reconnect your mass airflow sensor. Put all your plugs back in to hold the wiring loom, and then reattach this 10mm bolt. Put the air filter back in, and then reconnect the air box. And then the passenger side, get that all reattached. Make sure you plug in the top here of the air pump. There he is, right there. And yeah, make sure everything's all nice and tightened down. Throw your engine cover back on. I forgot to say at the beginning, disconnect your battery just on the off chance. This has an engine remote starter. You don't want this accidentally starting, like leaning against the car or whatever. So just for safety, pull that off at the beginning, reattach that, and then we're going to do a test start. So go ahead and start the car. Now, it's worth noting that every Toyota, after you unplug the battery, is going to do that. So now cycle the key back, and now start it. And once you've done that, you've changed the spark plug on your 2014 or newer 4Runner. Good job, Chile.